what I wanted to ask more about is the horn. The horn that knocks out 3 horns and talks about things.
You know what? This is where you're going to catch me out, because I find that those images in Daniel very difficult, and there's a lot of biblical interpretation.
Yeah.
And I wish I could give you an answer, but I don't think it would be worth much if I tried. Much better to go to the good commentaries.
Let me ask you about one thing. One interpretation is that the horn is Constantine.
Okay.
And what basically it kind of denounces condemns what he endorses. So
like the Catholic Church is
condemned.
Right, okay.
So what do you think about that? Because I think that makes sense just in the kind of the 10 what is it called? The 10 persecutions
kings
of the church, and then he's the one who overtakes 3 other kings, and then he's the one who does a lot of the...
Well, you know, I've never heard it described as Constantine. There's a guy called Dave Hunt who wrote a book called A Woman Rides the Beast, and the beast is the Catholic Church, or the woman, the prostitute is the Catholic Church. Whichever way it is, it's all nice, colourful stuff. But for me, you see, they've got to... When you get these very interesting images, identifying them with, say, Constantine or Nero or whoever, is a really tricky job. They may be right, but they may be wrong. People have interpreted these texts all kinds of ways down the ages, and the Catholic Church, by the way, has no official interpretation of these particular texts. If it did, I could tell you what it was. But what I would say is, this is like the product of a Protestant's fevered imagination. They don't like Constantine because he declared the peace of the Church, and that made Catholicism go forward in the Roman Empire, and even more so the Emperor Theodosius the Great, who made the Catholic Church the official religion of the Roman Empire.
Yeah, I get.
So these are hated by Protestants and enemies of the Catholic Church.
Yeah, but I kind of you can see the sense that they make, because if you say Catholics don't have a certain interpretation for this verse, and they have an interpretation that actually kind of fulfills the vision of Daniel completely, then kind of you have this thing, because I think it's very important because Constantine is just one that endorsed a lot of stuff, and I think I've read that he was pagan for the most part. There was books written that even his conversion was for political reasons, but it makes more sense what the Protestants say around this issue, around this vision specifically, because I think if you don't have an interpretation of a book like this, I think when you read it, you realize that it has a lot of importance.
We have Catholic interpreters of it. I mean, we don't have an official church interpretation. We have numerous Catholic scholars who interpret this. There's no doubt about it.
Cool.
But I'd say this: Constantine was a great but flawed emperor.
Yeah.
Great emperor. I mean, he was made emperor by his troops in York, so he's British as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, the guy, it's extreme. So he unites the empire, prevents massive civil war by defeating Maxentius, and he does something which the Protestants, if he didn't do it, they wouldn't exist. He declares peace for us, and he allows Christianity to flourish throughout the Roman Empire. And this is to me a divine moment when God the Holy Spirit touched this man. His mother was a Christian, she was a Catholic, Helena, and she went to the Holy Land and found the true cross and other holy places. I mean, when you go to the Edicula in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem, some say, it's not really where Jesus' tomb was. Well, actually, in that Edicula has been X-rayed, and it actually is got the walls of a cave. It's within it. So this is pretty much Jesus' burial place. So anyway, I think Constantine was great. So he killed too many. He killed his son Sergius. He equivocated in some ways, but I know we don't make him a saint in the Catholic Church compared to the Eastern Orthodox, who made him a saint.
Yeah.
He's a bit too much blood on his hands. Nonetheless, emperors are emperors.
Yeah.
And I think he was a great man for God's purposes. Lots of bloodthirsty men are used by God in ancient Israel and in our beliefs as instruments, so they're not themselves great men spiritually. Cool.